Hello fellow language learning nerds, welcome to another video, and today's video is kind of an introduction. I've made quite a few videos on here and I feel like I've not really properly introduced myself, and I think for like the last, actually maybe for like this whole year I've been thinking I should really do something just to say hello and officially say who I am, and you can learn a little bit more about me. So finally, I'm doing it. This is it, I'm doing it finally. I'm going to do a very brief couple of words before I get into a more Q&A section, because I asked online via Instagram and Twitter if anyone has any questions for me. And yes, I got a nice selection of questions, and so I do want to dedicate some time answering those questions. You know, so thank you to everyone who has sent that to me. So particularly I want to say thank you to Sam, Matthew, Ellie and Yuko, who all sent me stuff, all sent me questions, and I'm gonna put their links to them down below in the description box in the description box. And I think out of all of them, I'm going to shout out particularly to Ellie, who runs Ippo Japanese. I'm doing a particular shout out to them because they teach Japanese. So I feel like I should highlight that to anyone watching here. That is the main language we like to talk about. So officially, hi, my name is Reen, and I am just a nerdy lady who's trying their best to learn Japanese. I've been learning Japanese for a long time, a really long time. Long enough that I get a bit frustrated with how far my Japanese has progressed or hasn't progressed. But I try to remember that for most of that time, being fluent was not my goal. It was mainly just as a fun, interesting hobby that I could do. You know, it was learn a little bit of Japanese that could be fun and maybe useful if I ever went to Japan one day for a holiday, which, side note, it was. Eventually though, I kind of realised that I'd fallen in love with the Japanese language, and I now wanted to know everything I could possibly learn. And so I would one day like to feel comfortable enough to say, oh yeah, I'm fluent in Japanese. But that's far off into the future. I think I realised that, realised this change from just like, oh, it's a nice casual hobby to something more like I'm definitely gonna be doing this for many years, possibly the rest of my life, was when I sat down one evening to do grammar practice for fun. And I was like, oh no. But yeah, all that to say, I've been learning Japanese for a while, and I know that that's not going to be changing anytime soon. So without further ado, I would quite like to get into the questions that were sent to me. So for everyone who sent me questions, just so you know, I've grabbed your questions and I've kind of mixed them in together so that questions are kind of grouped up together. So like, the Japanese questions are more together and questions more about me are together. So yeah, but I'm answering all your questions. I've just jumbled them around to try and organise them a little bit. I hope that's okay. Right, so I'm going to try and answer the more... sorry if I look down here, I kind of wrote them all out so that I could have a reference to them. But yeah, so I'm going to try and do the questions specifically about Japanese first, then the questions that are general language questions, so they don't necessarily have Japanese in the question, but yeah, just the language stuff is Japanese language, general language, and then more stuff in general just about me. So first question: what is one thing you'd love to be able to do with your Japanese this year? That is a good question, because last year I wanted to do this year was to... I could have said that better. I originally wanted to do the N3 this year, the Japanese language proficiency test for level N3. Last year I did N4 and I passed that, and I was super happy about that. And I kind of thought maybe I could do that this year. Now that I'm like halfway through the year, I feel like maybe I won't be ready enough in December to do the N3. So I have kind of changed that plan to be maybe that needs to go into next year perhaps. There's no need for me to rush to do this exam. It's, you know, there's no, I'm only doing it because I told myself that I wanted to do it. So yeah, so that has kind of changed. So mainly what I want to do this year is to keep on trying to improve my listening and my speaking. I feel decent with my reading and writing, but my speaking and listening is, to put it kindly. So I really want to do that. I want to do more listening. There's plenty of stuff on YouTube to listen to, so I want to do that, and I want to do more italki lessons. So yeah, that is that. No other grand plans so far, but that's what I want to do, improve those skills. Next question, most useful Japanese study book or paper-based resource and online resource. So while I haven't used like so many resources that I feel confident in saying like this one is definitely the best or this one isn't worth your time, I would say for me personally, the things that I have used the most and have gained the most usefulness out of has got to be, this might not surprise anyone who's seen videos about it, but this Kanji book along with its along with its workbook companion for paper-based resource. This textbook, it's great. I learned so much from this. I don't think my kanji would have improved as quickly if I wasn't using this Kanji Look and Learn. Yeah, gotta say probably this is the thing that I use the most for like physical resources. I'd say that. Is there anything else? Maybe after this, I would say maybe the, oh no, the Pokemons, oh no. Maybe next I'd say is this one, which is a vocabulary book. But even this, I feel like I haven't used it as much as I should have, that I could have been getting I could have been getting more out of this. But yeah, 100%, this is number one. In terms of online resource, the thing I have used the most, it's so simple and so basic, but I can't deny that every time I'm doing any sort of study for Japanese, I always use it, and that is jisho.com. So it's just the online dictionary. I think a lot of people, if you're studying Japanese, you've probably already come across this one. But yeah, I just find this resource just so good. I use it all the time. So yeah, I can't deny jisho.com is great. jisho.org, I've just double checked. .org, jisho.org. This one, okay, this one. Next question, what sparked your interest originally in Japanese? Fair question. I think it was a mixture of, well actually, I'm gonna blame my friends. I had a couple of school friends back in secondary school who, it's their fault that I got into anime, basically, and at the time it was kind of difficult to consistently get anime in English, right? So sometimes an anime would come out and it might come out over here, but then you'd have to wait ages before it would have a dub for it. So you would have to watch it in subtitles. And being the little nerd that I was, I couldn't wait for that. So I was kind of always watching anime in Japanese. So that's basically was my introduction to hearing the Japanese language. And after listening to it for so much, I started to actually really like the sound, and you know, it sounded interesting, and I wanted to be able to say some of the things as well. Typical little nerdy otaku, I guess. But also one of those same friends later started learning Japanese, and at the time I was like, oh, you can do that? That's cool. And eventually I tried learning it a little bit myself. Then I had a bit of a long break, but it always kind of stuck with me, that idea of, oh, you can learn that language. That sounds pretty cool. There was also a time where, as I say, I was watching lots of anime in Japanese, and one of my favourites up here, Full Metal Alchemist, I had watched the whole thing in Japanese, and then I got my hands on the English dub, and I was like, oh great, now I can just listen to it in English. This will be great. How is this not good for me? And then I listened to it and I immediately was like, they sound wrong, what's going on? No. And that was my first experience with preferring something not in English, that I liked the sound of it in Japanese. So I think that may have planted some seeds in my brain to like Japanese. I also remember when my friend originally started learning Japanese, and she taught me a couple of words, and one of the words she taught me, I don't even know why, but I remembered she taught me the word wakarimashita, which means I understood, right? I understand. And I was watching an anime episode, I don't even know what it was, with a different group of friends, and one of the characters went wakarimashita, and I just jumped up and just was like, wakarimashita, and I understood it. And no, of course no one else knew why I was repeating this random uninteresting line from this anime, but I remember being so happy that I understood a word. I understood what that word meant. That was a long way to say anime. Anime sparked my interest in Japanese. Next question. What's been your happiest / proudest language moments? I had a little think about this one, and I think two particular moments in time were like, I was like, yeah, when it came to Japanese. One was last year, as I said, I passed the N4 exam. I was so proud of myself when I did that. Yeah, I did it. I think I made a video on it and everything. I think I still got my little crown over here, my JLPT crown. The other moment was when I went on holiday to Japan back in 2019, and it was me and my partner. We went to Japan. He doesn't speak a word of Japanese, and so I was the one who was like, don't worry, if we need to try and communicate with someone, I promise I'll do my best. I've been learning. And when we went there, there were a few occasions where I spoke Japanese, and they were very simple things, like I bought a ticket, just said, oh, 2 tickets to number please. And in a restaurant, I just simply saying like, oh, this please, or saying thank you very much at the like convenience store. But I remember feeling so happy that I managed to say something, even a tiny thing, and I was completely understood. Like even simply saying this please and this please in the restaurant, and the waiter was just like, hey. And they went and they brought back exactly what I asked for, and I was like, yes, mission accomplished. There was one particular moment. So me and my partner were in Akihabara, Nerd Central in Tokyo, and we went into a shop and we were buying amiibo, right, from Nintendo little figurines. And that you couldn't just pick it up from the shelf and then just take it to the desk. They were on display near the till, and they each had numbers. And so to the shop worker, you would say, oh, can I have of the amiibo, can I have like a number 5, number 10, number 12? Can I have those, please? So technically I had a bunch of stuff to say because we were buying multiples of them, but it was just numbers. That's really all I had to say, was just say those numbers and please. And you know, so it wasn't particularly complicated, but to someone who doesn't speak Japanese, i.e. my boyfriend, it sounded like I was saying a long string of stuff and it was all in Japanese and it all went smooth and it all went good. And so I can't deny that not only was I happy to use a lot of Japanese, I was also being like showing off to my partner, being like, yes, that's right, I can speak this language. It's so silly, but I was happy that I was able to show off to my boyfriend. Next question. What is the hardest part of learning the language so far? Well, as I kind of mentioned before, listening and speaking, particularly listening, is really difficult for me. Having a lot of trouble with that, as I was mentioning before. Though I think I have to add particles. Particles are so in Japanese. And I think, like, I have to say this, I literally had a Japanese lesson yesterday evening, and I got my homework back, and like the homework was like divided into sections, and each section was like questions on a particular, say, a different grammar point, right? And one of them was like, these are about particles, and I had to you know, just like, what's the missing particle in this sentence? And everything else I felt quite confident with answering those, but like that particle one, I was just like, I don't know, which one is it? Ni? There. Oh? No. Wa? Ka? I just, yeah. What is wa and what is ga? Please explain it. Next question. How is your British Sign Language going? It's going great. So yeah, while Japanese is my main language that I'm learning and that the main thing that I talk about on here, I have recently started learning British Sign Language, and yeah, it's going great. I love it. It's amazing. I really enjoy learning about it. I have a really nice class, really lovely teacher. Our class it's an online class, and everyone who's online, everyone is on mute, so we're forced to, you know, to not say anything because we just can't communicate verbally with each other. So we have to use sign language to communicate, and that includes the teacher. And at first you'd think, well, how, we're beginners, we don't know anything, surely this is going to be really difficult. But no, our teacher has made it so easy for us to understand what we're doing and, you know, what everything means. And yeah, I think we're all doing doing well. We're progressing. And in July, which I think when this goes out, it will have started to be July, I will have 3 short exams to do for BSL. And if I pass them, then I will officially have passed level 1 of sign language. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, it's going great. Does language learning run in the family? No. Unfortunately not. I've not got any language learners in my family, so I don't know where it came from for me. Though I feel like I should say my partner has learned to confidently use sumimasen and chottomate. Next question, is your job language related? Also, unfortunately, no. Though I have started a little a project. Will it be a project? I don't know. But I did basically send a long email to my manager, basically outlining how we can get languages more into our workplace. Basically we have, I'm afraid I can't tell you exactly what my job is because it's very public facing and internet safety. But being able to highlight colleagues of mine who can speak other languages, I think it would be extremely beneficial. And so I sent a long ass email to my manager outlining how we can do that. And she seemed very positive about it. So maybe I have been able to shove language stuff into my job, and I'm very happy that I've done that. Next question is, if I can find it, where are you based? I'm based in London. I think I've shown that in a couple of videos where I've travelled. I've done a little bit of travelling and I've kind of shown where I was going. You might have recognised the Thames, maybe? So I'm based in London. Next question, what made you want to start your channel? Interesting question. I think, I don't know, I just started to feel the need, after studying for so long, I think I started to feel the need to kind of talk about it, just talk bleh about it. I kind of wanted to do that. Plus, at the same time, I kind of wanted to see if I could make a video. I was curious as to if I could. I don't use any special editing programs, just the absolute basic, literally like iMovie on my laptop. And I think I ended up combining those two things where I could talk about Japanese and then I could try and make a video with that. So yeah, and it's like it's now like my place where I can just vent and chat about language learning. And yeah, that's basically it, I think. Next question, Japanese food you were afraid to try and loved it after you ate it. Well, possibly everything. Everything that I have tried for Japanese, I was nervous to try because that's just how I approach food in general. I don't eat a wide variety of things, or I'm very plain with my food, mainly because like whenever there's a new food brought to me, I'm always like it's kind of like, you know, when a kid is really picky with their food. I am what happens when that child does not grow out of that, and I get very anxious whenever new food is brought to me and I have to try it. So so whenever I tried Japanese food for the first time, I was quite nervous to try it, but in general I really like Japanese food. I love it. And again, when I went to Japan, the same trip that I was telling you about, it was so good. I loved it. It was amazing. And it was so much cheaper than it is here in London. Oh my gosh. Next question. Do you have any desire to go live in Japan? Yes. Yeah, if money was no option, I would go to Japan and go to a language school and just study and live in Japan. I feel like that would be a huge boost to my language skills. That would be amazing. I would love to do that. I'd love to do that. But money is a question and I can't do that, unfortunately. What were some of your earliest / favourite exposures to Japanese media? So I would say, similar to a question before, I'd say the first kind of exposure to Japanese media that I understood to be Japanese media was probably anime. From those same friends that I had in school, they introduced them as Japanese cartoons, this thing called anime. And so yeah, that was some of my earliest. So that included Fullmetal Alchemist. I think, what else did that include? Fruits Basket. I remember my friend being so into that. But yeah, that was the anime was definitely my introduction. However, like I think like a lot of us, when we grew up, we realized, oh, Pokemon is also Japanese media. So I would say, looking back, technically Pokemon was the earliest introduction to Japanese media that I had. it was on, over here, it was on a show. What was it called?
Come on, you might as well. Ah! You did not represent the power of me, Misty!
No, I'm the mightiest Pokemon trainer of them all. I'm the godlike Adonis that has entire nations falling at their feet and crying, Gary, Gary, Gary.
It was like a Saturday morning kids entertainment program where they would do fun stuff, but they would also show cartoons, and they got the rights to Pokemon, and yeah, so I think a lot of us were didn't really realise maybe at first that it was Japanese media, but everyone got into Pokemon, and yeah, and then later on I realised, oh, Pokemon is an anime. Oh, I get it now. As you can tell, I do like some Pokemon. Okay, I think last question is favourite anime / manga character. I had a good think about this one because I don't know, I feel like there isn't many anime and manga characters that I'm like, yes, I'm all about them. However, I gotta say, I kind of loved Hawkeye quite a lot, and she's kind of stuck with me the longest for liking an anime character. I also really liked Mustang. Hang on, let me get him. So yeah, I would say originally maybe Mustang. I really liked him. He was probably my favorite. However, while she was kind of like my second favorite from this one, Hawkeye, I think that she has stuck around the longest as being my favorite. I even have a little android of her. Look how cute. Puppy. Probably these guys. Yeah. In case you have a follow-up question, I do not ship them. Yeah, I would say probably those would have to be my absolute favourites. Maybe I do have a little soft spot for Yotsuba as well. Just because she's super adorable, and she's the main character of the first manga that I ever read in Japanese as well. She's lovely, she's so sweet. So yeah, I think that might be it. I've been recording for a while. This might be my longest video. That is all the questions finally done. Thank you so much to everyone who sent me the question. I hope I managed to give you a decent answer to it. Yes, thank you so much. I really, really do appreciate it. And thank you to everyone else who's made it through to the end of this question. I really appreciate you watching my videos and sticking around to the end of them. So yes, I will finally stop rambling on, and I will let you get on with the rest of your day. So yeah, just remember, may your grammar be structured and your vocabulary varied. Bye!